Okay, let's crack on then. We'll try and get around the room in the same way. We'll try and spread it around as much as we can. And with that, Ian, why don't you go for it?
John, hi. How do you explain Chelsea's start to the season and the results this season, given that last season the club was...
I think it's difficult for us to pinpoint as a group one thing. I think it's, me speaking honestly, I think it's a lot of collective things put together. I think first and foremost, I think the players will stand up and say, and me personally on this as well, I've not been good enough, our performances haven't, and we take that on the shoulders. We realise where we are in the league, where we are in the Champions League group, and what we need to do to get out of it. And at the minute, as I say, that responsibility lies with us, not the manager. It relies on us as players.
So I just do a quick translate.
Как вы можете объяснить начало этого сезона?
What is it going to take to turn things around?
Well, it's going to take a dressing room that stays together and sticks together. I think what we've seen the last kind of 2 or 3 days of for me, ridiculous stories with what's happening within the club, within the dressing room. I can assure you now that the players are 100% behind the manager. We're together, and I think anyone who's been at the last 4 or 5 games of ours will see a turn in the way we've been playing. So as I said before, we hold our hands up. The first part of the season we wasn't good enough. I think the last 4 games we've been extremely unlucky not to come away with a couple of wins with how things have gone. And I'm positive and I'm sure we're on the up and we're on the turn, and we will turn things around. But as I say, together is the most important thing, and we stay together in that dressing room.
Что надо изменить, по вашему мнению? Я считаю...
John, the manager says he knows what's wrong as well. But are you as players still responding to his methods, or does he maybe have to look at the way he's working with you on the training ground to turn this around? Because whatever he's tried thus far this season hasn't delivered results.
No, I think the manager's work for me comes pre-season. I think at this stage of the season we're playing Saturday. You spend a day, 2 days recovering, you're straight into the next game. So there isn't even an opportunity, even if the manager wanted it at this time to do tactical work or do other bits. I think that work's been done, like it was last season, was done early on in the season to prepare ourselves for the season ahead. We know where we need to be and what we need to be doing on the football field. And as I said, if you reflect on the last four performances, we've been extremely unlucky not to come away with anything.
Have you seen any difference in the way he's been trying to work with you during this bad run, prolonged bad run?
I've known him a long time, and he's always been the same. He's very demanding. He wants the players to win on the training field. He's really disappointed and devastated after results. He takes a lot of that responsibility on his own shoulders, which again I go back to, which is him all over, taking it away from the players because we're the ones on the pitch and the ones who haven't been good enough. But as I say, collectively, us as players, him, the fans, the football club, we will bounce back from this for sure, and we will climb up this league table. I'm sure of that.
Вы сказали, что то есть как бы могли прокомментировать ситуацию с Жозе, потому что он говорил, что он знает, в чем причины ваших неудач. Вы следуете...
Before with other managers, you've seen the pressure they're under. Do you get a sense that he's under real pressure? What are you players saying as a group to help get the manager out of this situation?
I go back to that. He's under pressure because the way we're performing. You know, he can do all the work he wants on the training field in the team meetings. Once we step over that white line, it's out of his hands a little bit, and it's on us. So that's why I'm saying collectively, we know we need to be better for this football club, for him, because as I said, as an individual, he'll come and front you guys after games and take a lot of the responsibility on his shoulders, which again is unfair because, you know, again collectively, it's on all of us. It's not just him. We are prepared to fight, and as I said, anyone who's been at the games can see that the way we've reacted, responded to what he wants, looking for the right results, the desire, the fight that the fans want to see on a weekly basis, regardless of performances or results. At the end of the day, they want to see people fighting, throwing themselves in front of the ball, putting their body and their life on the line for the football club. And if results and everything else doesn't go away, that's a bare minimum we can ask of everyone.
Вопрос касался того, что...
Without knowing from the outside the reasons why the form isn't so great, there's all sorts of speculation. Can we try and put one of these rumours to bed? Were the players upset when Dr. Caminero lost their job?
As that matter is subject to legal proceedings, we are unable to comment on it. Wouldn't be appropriate to at this time, so we'll leave that one.
Хотелось бы немножко развенчать слухи, которые вокруг команды.
John, I know again it's speculation, you say it's not true, but if you found out that one player would rather lose playing for this manager than win, what would you say or do to them?
Again, listen, in my whole football career, I've never heard a player come out with them words in the whole of my football career, whether it's been going bad or really bad, etc. It's ridiculous that we actually even have to sit here and talk about it. You know, listen, you normally get things when teams are going through a difficult period like we are at the moment, you know, small minor things. When it's like that, it hurts because people are fighting. You know, I've seen players' faces, the disappointments after results. You know, us feeling as though we've let the club down, let the manager down, let the fans down, etc. A player wouldn't get out of the dressing room, would they? Let's be honest. If players heard that amongst ourselves, it wouldn't go down too well, would it?
Насчет слухов, что один из игроков сказал, что я лучше про...
John, how much do you think your role as captain has changed during these difficult times? And we've heard a lot from your manager, but how have you personally coped with such tough times at the club?
It's been difficult and unfamiliar for me as well. But again, you know, things happened and I'll do my normal captain's role within the dressing room, within the club that kind of stays amongst us as a group of individuals, etc. Speaking about me personally as my form, you know, I can certainly be better for sure. You know, I'm not about to sit here and speak about anybody else, but for sure John Terry can be better, and I need to be back up to where I was last season and where my kind of stats and my record shows over my last year. So if I can do that and collectively we can all do that, you know, we're going to be in a much better position. But as a captain, it's been difficult. But again, I'm prepared to stand up front you guys and front anyone else because I'm sure we're going to get out of it.
Вопрос касался того, что вы как...
You see Jose having a go at the referee on occasions. He's been punished again, obviously yesterday by the FA. You see him refusing to answer questions in post-match interviews, and there's a sense that he's struggling to handle this slump of form. He's not used to it, of course. Is it just the fact that he's not used to losing like this? Or does he need to stop thinking the world's against him? Does he need to handle it a bit better? I mean, Jamie Carragher said he needs to stop this sense of paranoia. It's a bit embarrassing for the club. He needs to handle it a bit better.
I don't think it's that. And again, I stress because, you know, for managers, whether you're winning or losing, it's you guys that the manager has to be the forefront and come out and face you guys. And listen, they're coming out. If you guys consistently want the managers to speak honestly and openly, without getting fined, without getting punished, otherwise, you know, we'll all get boring answers. I was a tough game. It was this. It was that. You know, the fans want to hear and hear the passion from the managers, from the players after games. Now, obviously, there's been decisions that's gone against us, and there'll be decisions that go for us that we don't deserve. That's a season. You know, I had a similar one with Mark Clattenburg at West Brom when he sent me off. I went to see him after the game. We agreed to disagree. I see him before the game the weekend. He was still adamant it was a sending off. I was still adamant it wasn't. and you talk about it, but that's done within an enclosed area. Nobody gets to see that. It didn't get heated at all. We had a man-to-man discussion. He's setting his way, I was setting mine. With the manager, he has to come out and put his face in front of the TV. And sometimes that passion does go, but that's because he cares for the football club. And again, that's what the fans want to see. And he gets punished, he gets fined. Again, it's a little bit unfair, but again, I go back to the refs. It's difficult for them as well because, you know, listen, I'm out there. It's a difficult thing. They've got a real tough job at the moment. They're under the spotlight as well. They've got to make quick decisions. You know, it's not just our manager that does it. All managers do it. But again, if you guys want honest, immediate answers after the game, give them a bit of freedom. For me.
Вопрос касался того, что в последнее время
Those sentiments that he will do anything to protect you as players. Do you ever think that sometimes he orchestrates a bit of the foray that he can create to defend you guys, that the back pages are about Jose instead of one of his players or his team underperforming?
I think he's been good at that over the years for sure, and he takes it away from us, and protects us as well is probably the key word to that, because listen, I keep going back to it. We need to be better. He's protected us and protecting us of that. But listen, there's been talk of, this, that and the other with him, with Ed, and we're talking about, for me, the best manager in a long time I've been at this football club that I've seen. Eden being one of the best players that I've seen at this football club also. And there's been talk of them leaving the football club or going elsewhere. For me, they have to be in the Premier League. They have to be here, and people can't be happy to see us and Jose and the team doing badly. We've got to get behind and keep the best people in English football and make English football the best in the world, and continually year after year. The only way we do that is with the best manager, and he's the best manager by far. Eden's one of the best players by far I've ever worked with. So it's important that we keep and the manager keeps protecting players and people like us.
Вопрос касался того, насколько...
You're reclaiming some responsibility here for the players rather than just the manager. So how would you feel personally if this bad run and bad form that the players are in ended up costing the most successful manager this club's ever had his job?
As I said before, I go back to it's not going to come to that, because the club have shown faith in, again, the best manager with the best history at the football club. Certainly in all aspects, the managers I've worked with, he's by far a long way the very best. And for me, we are going to turn it around, and it's no what ifs that, or what if we lose our next game, what if we lose our next two. For me, we're going to turn this around. And listen, that's the only way I'm thinking. I'm not thinking what if we do this or what if we do that. I'm sure and I'm adamant that we will turn this around, and he will be in charge for the rest of the season. And listen, long after I've finished playing at the football club, because for me he's the right man to take this club forward and where we want to be.
Вопрос касался того, что вы говорите.
John, there's been a long-standing perception that Chelsea fight the world, and usually it leads to success, and you look down on the Premier League while you've done it. This season you're looking up at most of it with that same mentality. How does that affect you in those quiet moments when you're driving to and from training and you're trying to work out what on earth's going wrong here? How does this situation, because this is new to you, how does that affect you in those quiet moments? What's your thought processes?
It doesn't affect really. You listen and observe things that's happened on the outside. For sure, that's not where I want to be. As an individual or a football club, we don't want to be fighting the world or have that perception. You want to be loved as an individual, as a football club, for what you've achieved, for what you're doing in the game, for what you've achieved in the game. And for sure, we want relationships with you guys, with the referees, but grown-up men conversations. And that's why I spoke about the referees. You can have these conversations with the referees. They're open to it. Mark Clattenburg's open to it. It's, and for me, there's no better than him. And we just need to be men, have these grown-up conversations where you can speak honestly, you can speak the truth, you can deal with the bad, you can deal with the good, and move forward. But ideally, we want to be up there, fighting for Premier Leagues season after season, playing for Champions Leagues for the next qualifying round. We want to be loved. We want to be loved, obviously, around the world, not just in England. But that starts from winning football matches. So we're clear of the message and clear what we need to do, which is strip it all back. We need to start performing and winning football matches.
Вопрос касался того, что о чем вы думаете, когда вот вас...
Thanks, Tony.
And you've seen these situations before where managers have been in trouble. Scolari, ABB, Robbie. Are you saying this situation is different now? It's not the same as those bad situations you had with those managers. This is different.
I'm not saying it's different, because results speak for itself. The league table doesn't lie. It's as simple as that. Again, I go back to, we know where we are. We know we certainly don't want to be in this position in a couple of weeks in the league. It's not different because the pressures are there, and I think the bigger and bigger football's getting, and that's again going back to having the best people, the likes of Eden, the manager, in our football club. Making the Premier League the best, making this football club the best. The pressures are going to be there always, and year after year, for me, as I've seen, they've got bigger and bigger. For individuals, for all of us, to spotlight you guys. That's the way football is. I'm not saying it's been different, because when you lose, and there's no worse feeling. You know, I was supposed to see Frank after the game. I didn't see him because I just wanted to get home and I just wanted to be on my own after the weekend. That's how it is. And, you know, pressures that come with the job and come with the role and players individually.
Вопрос касался того, что вы видели, как многие...
Final question then, please, Darren.
How much does that inspire you to maybe prove to people who have ex-pros being critical of you?
Yeah, I think touch on the first bit. It's a case of, you know, for me, we are where we are as a group. I've come under criticism individually from certain players, individuals, you know, players who I've looked up to, played alongside, you know, and take it on the chin 100%. You know, the likes of Rio, Cara, Neville. We're talking at the very best that I've seen and come across in the game. I sit there and listen and take everything in and try and improve that. I don't look at that in a negative way. When certain other people speak, yeah, maybe not. Maybe I don't listen. Maybe I don't take it on the chin when players have not had a career, have played at a really bad level throughout their career and come for people that have achieved what I've achieved in the game. You know, Robbie Savage being one. It's, you know, he's dug me out a couple of times, and it's, listen, as a footballer, an individual, you take it. And as I said, I'll take it all day long from the very best, the Rios, the Carragers, the Nevilles. All day long I'll take it. Other people, no.
Robbie Savage is his colleague.
That's what I told him.